Alright, let's talk about a really simple pattern that can completely supercharge how your team works together. It's called the Three Amigos meeting. Now this is a powerful idea, and it's all about one thing: building a rock-solid shared understanding of the work before anyone even thinks about writing a single line of code. Let's get into it. So picture this: you've done your sprint planning, the backlog's looking good, stories are all pointed, everything seems perfect. And yet, halfway through the sprint, things just start to fall apart, right? Developers hit roadblocks they never saw coming, features get misunderstood, and suddenly, rework is piling up. Sound familiar? It's a classic and super frustrating problem in the Agile world. So what's the deal? Well, more often than not, the real culprit is this: a critical gap in shared understanding. The team thinks they're all on the same page, but there are these subtle little ambiguities and unasked questions just lurking under the surface, pretty much waiting to derail the whole sprint. So in this explainer, we're going to tackle this head on. First up, we'll dig into why this shared understanding thing is such a big challenge. Then we'll meet the three amigos and really unpack the power of their different perspectives. After that, we'll get practical and talk about how to run these sessions effectively. And we'll wrap it all up by looking at the common traps you absolutely need to avoid. Okay, Section 1, the shared understanding problem. Or to put it another way, what happens when it's missing and teams really aren't on the same page about what they're supposed to be doing. You know, you can just feel the frustration in this quote from Murray Robinson of the No Nonsense Agile podcast. It's not just a complaint, it's a direct plea to solve the problem of vague requirements. Because when stories are poorly defined, it leads straight to wasted effort, a ton of confusion, and honestly, it just tanks team morale. So how do we actually fix this? Well, that brings us right to Section 2, meet the three amigos. And look, this isn't some complex new framework you have to learn. It's a simple, collaborative pattern that's designed to build that crucial alignment right from the very start. At its heart, a Three Amigos meeting is really just a focused conversation. The whole goal is to bring three key perspectives together to really scrutinize a user story before it ever gets into a sprint. It's all about proactively asking the tough questions early to create a shared, really robust understanding of what needs to be built and, just as importantly, why. First up is our first amigo, representing the business perspective. This is often your product owner or a business analyst. These are the keepers of the why. Their job is to make sure that whatever gets built is actually delivering real value and solving a real customer problem. Our second amigo brings in the development perspective. This person is all about the how. They're looking at the requirement and thinking, okay, is this technically feasible? What are the implementation details? Are there any hidden constraints or dependencies we need to worry about? And rounding out the trio, our third amigo is the testing perspective. This is the voice of quality assurance. These folks are the masters of asking, what if? They're constantly challenging the proposed solution, thinking through all the edge cases, the potential failure points, and figuring out how we'll even know if the feature works as intended. And this brings up a really crucial point. Three Amigos is a catchy name, for sure, but the real focus is on three perspectives, not a strict headcount of three people. If a story has major user experience implications, you absolutely want a designer in there. If it touches a really complex system, maybe an architect is essential. The whole goal is just to have the right expertise in the room to cover all the important angles. Okay, so we know who's in the room, but why does this collaboration actually work so well? Let's get into Section 3, the power of three perspectives and the very real benefits this approach brings to the table. The payoff here is just huge. You get communication that is so much better, which builds that shared understanding we've been talking about. Ambiguities and problems get caught super early, before they become expensive rework down the line. Quality stops being some final step and instead gets baked in from the very beginning. And all of this just leads to way more efficiency and much smarter risk management. You basically end up building the right thing, the right way, the first time. Alright, so you're sold on the idea, but how do you actually do it? Section 4 is all about running an effective session and taking this from just a good idea into actual practice. First things first, let's clear up a really common point of confusion. A Three Amigos session is not the same thing as backlog grooming. Think of it this way. Grooming is broad. You're looking at multiple stories, trying to prioritize and estimate. A Three Amigos session, on the other hand, is a deep dive. It is laser focused on one single story to get it perfectly clear. The output isn't a prioritized list. It's one well-understood, testable story that is truly ready to go. Running a great session is actually all about keeping it simple. First, prepare. Send the story out ahead of time so people can come in with some thoughts. Second, stay focused. Keep the meeting short. 30 to 60 minutes is usually plenty, and stick to that single story. Third, encourage questions. This is the whole point, to challenge assumptions. A key outcome here should be crystal clear, testable acceptance criteria. And finally, document your decisions right away, right there, so nothing gets lost. So to wrap things up, let's look at the dark side. Section 5 is all about the common traps and anti-patterns that can totally undermine the value of this practice if you're not careful. And this quote just brilliantly nails the biggest danger. If your three amigos meeting turns into this siloed, upfront design phase, where a small group creates a giant specification document to just hand over to the team, well, you haven't done anything agile. You just reinvented waterfall. This is supposed to be a meeting for collaboration, not for creating a handoff document. Another huge trap is getting way too far ahead. The goal here is just-in-time refinement. If your amigos are defining work for sprints that are months away, you're not being agile at all. That knowledge gets stale, and it creates this huge disconnect from what the team is actually working on right now. A good rule of thumb? Just don't get more than 1 or 2 sprints ahead. And here are a few more quick-fire pitfalls to watch out for. Inconsistent attendance, where one of those core perspectives is just missing. One person dominating the whole conversation, the focus shifting from a good dialogue to just creating a ton of documentation. And maybe the most common one, you have a great conversation, but then nobody actually updates the user story with what you all decided. So this is it. This is the crucial point. If you take only one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. The Three Amigos meeting is valuable because of the real-time, collaborative conversation. It is not a process for creating a document to throw over the wall. The magic is in the dialogue. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Just take a second and look at your own team's process. Are you actually fostering these rich, collaborative conversations to build real shared understanding, or are you just passing documents and notes back and forth and kind of hoping for the best?